Hey guys, Mr. Gibson here. So I wanted to record a video to help get you started on this Explore assignment. So this unit is all about chemical reactions and chemical equations. And the first thing we're going to learn is how to write a chemical equation. We're going to do that in two steps. First, we're going to take some description of a chemical reaction, and we're going to convert that into what's called a word equation. And then we're going to take a word equation and convert that into what's called a skeleton equation. So let's go through and read some of the tips for how to write a word equation and a skeleton equation. So it says, number one, use symbols and names of reactants and products to write a word equation for each chemical reaction. That's part of the directions of today. Okay, so here you're going to, with a word equation, you're simply going to write the reactants and the products, but you're not going to use chemical symbols. You're just going to use the words. You're just going to use their names. Okay, so metals and ionic compounds are solids at room temperature. Hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide are gases. Water is liquid but will exist as vapor at high temperatures. And all solutions, if you see the word solution, that means that it's aqueous, which means it's just dissolved in water. Okay, so there are a couple symbols here. If you see the letter S written after a symbol, then that means that that substance is a solid. If you see the letter L, it's a liquid, G is a gas, and AQ means that it's dissolved in water, means it's aqueous. Okay, and a couple tips for writing skeleton equations. It says formulas for acids are on the back of your periodic table. That doesn't apply to you guys. I'll take that out. Hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen and groups or elements in group 17 are all what's called diatomic, meaning when they're on their own, there's always two of them. And it says be sure to identify ions before trying to write the formula for ionic compounds. So what you learned last unit with going from a name to a formula is going to be really important here for ionic compounds. Okay, so it says now open the attached Google form, and I give you a series of scenarios. And for each one, you're going to write the word equation and the skeleton equation. Now, the best way to figure out how to do this is just to see an example. So let me show you an example here. Okay, so here's an example. It says, here's the scenario. Aqueous hydrogen peroxide breaks down into water vapor and oxygen gas. And so here we have this chemical reaction being described. So what we want to do is now take that and put that into a word equation. So we have aqueous hydrogen peroxide. The word breaks down implies that there's some kind of chemical reaction. You may see a couple phrases like that, like this substance reacted to form this, or combusted, or combined, or broke down, or decomposed to form this. And all those words mean that a chemical reaction has taken place. Okay, so aqueous hydrogen peroxide breaks down, chemical reaction. So this arrow means yields, and that's what separates your reactants, or what goes into a chemical equation, from your products, which is what comes out. So that arrow indicates that a chemical reaction is taking place. So, and if you were to read it, we would read that arrow as the word yields. So aqueous hydrogen peroxide yields water vapor and oxygen gas, or plus oxygen gas. Okay, so again, word equation, we're just using the words. Now we've replaced some of the words from the scenario with symbols, so like the arrow and the plus sign, but it's still an equation made from words. It's a word equation. Now what you want to do is take those terms, those names of those compounds, and convert them into an actual formula. So here's the skeleton equation. H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide. It said it was aqueous, so I've got a little AQ, okay? Yields the formula for water, which it said was water vapor, so that's a gas. So I put a little G to let you know that, plus oxygen gas. So I've got O2, oxygen is diatomic, so it's always going to be O2, and then the letter G to indicate that it's a gas. So when you're working through this, if you are not sure about a formula, I would rather you look up its name or email me than get stuck and just not do it. So like if you got to this, if this was a problem you had to solve and you got to it and you're like, I don't know what the heck aqueous hydrogen peroxide is, I'm just done. Don't be done. Either look it up. It's totally fine. This is an explore activity. This is just you getting used to how to these steps. Or you can email me and I'll tell you the answer, okay, if you can't find it. So scenario, word equation, skeleton equation. Then you're going to answer this question, are you ready to try this? If after watching this video and looking at this example, you're still not ready, you're going to click no. And if you do that, it's going to take you to extra help, where I expound a little bit upon how to do this, and there's a YouTube video that walks you through how to do it. Okay. Then, if you're ready, it will take you to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scenarios in which I've given you, kind of the description of the chemical reaction, and you have to type the word equation and skeleton equation. Now, this is an explore activity. You're just getting used to this. So I don't totally expect you to be pros at this right off the bat. So for each one, regardless of what you type, I have designed this to give you feedback. And so whether you get it right or wrong, it's going to tell you the right answer. So you can compare that to what you had typed. Okay, if you get it wrong, don't stress it. The right answer is there for you once you've submitted it, and I am grading this based on purely your effort at trying, not on whether or not you get these right or wrong. Okay, we're going to have, later on an opportunity for me to kind of explain more in depth how to do this, and you get a little more practice. Okay, so let's get our feet wet with word equations and skeleton equations. Let me know if you need any help. Good luck, guys.